Hello, everyone. I'm recording this later in the day. I'm live later in the day on Sunday. And I thought about what to talk about today because I'm on the theme of transforming our mindset to get unstuck. And I thought about talking about dogs, but maybe for another time because I adore dogs like many of you do. All animals, really, but dogs are my favorite. Then come elephants. But in this video number 7 for the challenge, the 30-month challenge, 30-day challenge, I thought I would talk about the blessings of innovation. I thought I saw today that it was National Cancer Survivor Day. Then I looked again, I couldn't find it. But it got me thinking how far we've come in centuries, but even what I've seen over the course of my 62 years. In the early 70s, my mother contracted breast cancer. And with the blessing of radiation, thank you, Marie Curie and her husband, Pierre, radium was discovered. Later in the, I believe later in the 1800s, early 1900s. It had a dark side to it, but I'll save that for another day. But truly what it has done, X-rays, radiation. My mother lived another 40 years because of that. And until she unfortunately got cancer again in her early 80s, still working. She worked through it. Again, thankfully, she had some good chemo drugs that kept her around a long time. And most important, she had medications that kept her out of pain. So we have so many medical innovations I could talk about. Right before I was born, I believe, or around that time, they discovered the vaccine for polio, a most dreaded disease, every parent's nightmare that their child would contract polio. Those that are my contemporaries, and going forward, we are very blessed, at least in most of the world. I know there's some parts of the world where, unfortunately, children still get it, but most of us are lucky to have that vaccine and use it. Also, I've seen the ability to have heart transplants. In the 80s, I had clients that had MS, and it was really a deadly disease if they got that. There's different kinds, I believe, if they got the worst. Now we have medications. MS still can be turned in a heartbeat to something more debilitating, but in the non-debilitating state, the medications keep people going. Same thing with rheumatoid arthritis. I remember as a little girl, I saw a woman at a picnic I was at, and one of the people she was present. She was a woman, and her hands were all mangled from being crippled by rheumatoid arthritis. And now look what we have: drugs that ward off that inflammation that causes that. And I know many clients and many people that have it. We are very blessed to have these medications. And how about other innovations? My goodness, could we ever imagine we talking on a phone and I'd be looking at my iPhone as my webcam here? We never could have imagined, but Steve Jobs did, didn't he? He knew that we'd need computers. And think about it. We have these videos on our phones. We can talk. We can look. George Floyd's murderer would never have been discovered if it hadn't been for a video. I hate to bring such a bleak statement, but truly, justice can now be served. We are very blessed. I really feel that way. In this horrible pandemic that has really confined many of us, as well as the events of the last few weeks, we have to look at what's out there, what helps keep us going, and be reminded of those blessings. Reminded that 65 was considered the time that people would die, and it was at one time in the 20th century even. And now it's the 21st century, and people in their early 60s are starting new chapters in their life, just like me and many of you. And I say thank you for that. So in these dire times, let us think for a few moments about what's good, what helps us, and the ability that we can reinvent ourselves, even at this later chapter in my life, in your lives, and many people even later than this. In the meantime, if you want to learn more about me, you'll keep seeing me at least through the month of June. I may continue this on because I have some ideas going forward. But you can go to darlenecorbett.com. You can visit my podcast, Tap Into the Power of You, and just listen to some wonderful people, inspiring. I'm blessed to have had them on my show. And also you can hear Melody Beach and I on Unity Radio 97.9 FM, a station in Worcester, Massachusetts. Connections count, don't they now? Have a lovely day. Bye for now.